proven by stylists to really do what we say. We're very fact driven. We will not put our name on anything unless it really does what we say it will, and we can prove it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Successful Stylist Academy podcast. So today, I am with none other than co-owner of Olivia Garden, Maza. Are you there, Anne?
I am. Hi, Drea. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Anne has a lot of insight and expertise into the industry. So I'm going to jump right in with you because Olivia Garden, I am an educator with you guys. And so I'm just going to put that out there. And I was just on stage in Canada, in Quebec. And one of the things I say from stage is don't believe me about what I'm saying about the company, about the tools, the looks, the education, because I'm up here, but know that I'm up here because you guys really share my same why, which is us, which is the hairdresser, which is the love for the industry and being there for hairdressers. I think one of the most amazing things about the company is that it started out as a little family-owned company and is still a family-owned company. And I was hoping that you would give us a little history.
Sure, of course, my pleasure. So, of course, Olivia Garden is very dear to our hearts because our parents founded Olivia Garden in 1967 in our home country of Belgium. At the time in the 60s, anywhere in the world, but particularly in Belgium or in Europe, hair products, tools, and appliances were not what they are today. So for a woman to change her hairstyle, it was a lot more work than it is today. Not that it's particularly easy today, depending maybe on your hair, what you're trying to do, but it was really challenging back there. So a lot of the women in the salon, instead of when they go home and they wanted to change their hairstyle for the weekend or whatever, they would buy a wig from their stylist or a hairpiece from their stylist so that they could make that transformation more easily. So my father and mother had the idea to make high quality wigs that are custom made for the customer in the salon. So my father would go into the salon in Belgium with different options of finished wigs. Then the stylist would have their customer there that's interested in making a purchase. He would go ahead and take measurements and everything. And then, all together, they would decide what is the style and the color and whatever the person wanted. And then he would gather the orders. And at the end of the day, after my mom worked all day in the salon, she would then have to come home and then, cut the wigs, color the wigs, style them. And then, maybe within a week or so, my father would go back into the salon and go ahead and deliver it to the stylist, who then would sell it to their customer sitting in the chair. This is how they got into the hairdressing industry and met all the stylists in Belgium. We only have 10 million people that live in Belgium. So it's a very small country. So it's easy to kind of build a relationship with everyone. In the 70s, wigs went and hairpieces went out of style. And so then they started getting into other salon products because they had the connection. So they just needed to, meet the needs of the stylist at the time with what they were looking for. So they continued distributing Olivia Garden products throughout all of Belgium. And then once they did that successfully, expanded to the other countries in Europe. And so they did that as well successfully. And then after that, in 1985, that's when they decided that it was time to try to expand the business into the United States. So by then, the four of us moved to America and came to, this is pre-internet, pre-cell phone, pre-everything. You basically had a phone and just the beginning of the fax machine, and that's it. And mail. We had mail, postal mail. My father spoke English. We had learned a little bit of English. My mom didn't speak a word of English. And we had to, my parents had to start the business here with nobody really knowing who we were. We imported our hair curlers into the United States, which interlocked together. Because in the 80s, perms were very popular. So that was going to be kind of our way to get into the market, was with this really innovative hair curler, which was really big at the time, perming. So they started doing trade shows and they quickly realized that they needed extra hands on deck. And, they really have money to pay for extra hands on deck. So children are around every day, apparently, in a home. So I became my father's secretary. and my brother became the company accountant. So we both got responsibilities. And then when we weren't, so after school every day, we started working to help our parents basically build the business, which was of course being run from the house at the time. And then during the year, we also traveled to do trade shows with them. And that's how the business started in the United States, which was really like starting from scratch. I mean, obviously they had a lot of experience running a business in Europe, but it's completely different when you run it in the United States. And this is also how my brother and I apprenticeship started, because by doing this, we started to learn what it's like to build a business and hard work and everything that goes along with it. This story is all about like kind of reinventing yourself and how things change and evolve. And so, then perms went out of fashion, and then it was about brushes. That brushes now are good enough to be able to create styles in the hair, and people were able to create styles without having to necessarily rely on different more chemical services. And so then we started focusing on hair brushes and developing those and selling them. So fast forward to today, we have our offices in Belgium still, where we have a management team that handles distribution throughout all of Europe. And in the United States, we're located in Northern California. Now my brother and I run the business, and our parents luckily are still around, but they are retired. And our products, Olivia Garden, is available in 100 countries worldwide. So we're very proud of that. And for the professional hair industry, so brushes purchased by hair salons and stylists worldwide, we are the number one brush brand. And then we've of course gotten into other categories such as shears, appliances, apparel, etc. But I know we're really well known for our hair brushes. So that's a little bit about our story. So
for our listeners, there's a lot of shows where you and Pierre, the owners, are unpacking boxes and then working the booth and then taking pictures of us and then checking on us behind the scenes. And your parents sat in on one of my workshops one time, and to be able to be on stage and say, and the owners are here today working alongside us and supporting us. It's pretty amazing. I don't think that happens with a lot of companies. I think that that's really, really rare. And I think that when that happens, it affects your entire company in a really amazing, positive way. And you're always going to get the best out of your team. So I appreciate that in you guys. And I think it's amazing. And I love being a part of this. Tell us now, like, at the evolution of the company, like what is your main role right now within the company? Like what does a day in the office look like for you?
So I think continuing always being in touch with your team at any, whether that's in the salon or in a company, is really important to know what's going on. And it's really appreciated also by everybody on the team to know that you care about how they're doing and if there's any challenges in their job. But in terms of how the roles are split between my brother and I, in terms of the day-to-day, we really we complement each other quite well due to our personality and our educational background. So it luckily felt very natural to each take the responsibilities that we have. So in my case, I take care of marketing, sales, and product development. And of course, marketing involves social media, the actual advertising. I mean, there's so many content creation, education. There's a lot that goes under marketing. It's a big umbrella, but it's all about that, the way that the product looks and the way that it works. And so it's very visual, and it's also a very technical aspect of the product creation from A to Z. My brother also does sales because we both grew up doing sales. And so I started, I focus on US sales and he focused on international sales. So this is kind of how we divided the sales strategy, because it's really important. Of course, we have other people in our sales team, but we handle key accounts in these different areas of the world. And then Pierre takes care of more of the financial, the accounting, at a high level, and all the logistics of manufacturing in terms of planning for what we're going to need, because we, especially with the world that we live in today, because of COVID, supply chain issues, we don't need to go down that path, but you guys know it's just the buzzword. It is a nightmare. Mm-hmm. And so we have a very large facility in Northern California that can store a lot of merchandise, but still it has a max point of, like, at some point you run out of space. So you need to get enough merchandise so you don't run out of products, but also not too much that you run out of space. And obviously, merchandise needs to be prepaid. So there's also a liquidity factor. So it's like that perfect forecasting of when do we place the order? When does it ship? How does it ship? Where is it warehoused? And it's just very complicated logistical planning that Pierre, my brother, is in charge of. He also takes care of all of our legal, because every product that we design is unique and different from anyone else. And we work very, very hard about, to make sure that our products are just hopefully of the best quality possible and outstanding performance for the stylist. And so we protect those ideas and those concepts. And so there's a whole patent protection and the whole strategy there, not only to protect yourselves worldwide, but also to defend yourself when somebody tries to infringe upon your patents. So Pierre also handles that part of it with our legal teams. And unfortunately, you have to have lawyers in different countries because laws are different and it's quite complex. So he's able to manage and handle all of that. So it's a more technical, much more number heavy type of work that he does. And I'm more on the creative side, and it just works out perfectly. I get up early, and the first thing I do is I check my emails and messages. So because unfortunately, when I get up, I already have about 100 emails from customers around the world, or the factories, or our European office. So I quickly just see if there's anything, because while they're still awake or at the office in the different time zones, if I could answer really quickly and kind of save a day. So take care of that. Then since COVID started, given myself a gift of 1 hour to myself per day, which I spend exercising. So work for me is not work. It really is more of a lifestyle, and it is my passion. So Olivia Garden is like part of my family. So if I'm thinking about what's the next, about a certain product or about a campaign, advertising campaign or something, then during that time I'm swimming or I'm running or I'm biking, I can be just kind of thinking about that, because I'm not getting a text message, I'm not getting an email, I'm not getting a phone call, because I am out in nature doing something. And so I can really focus on that. So it's a great time for that. And then after that, it's off to back into the office, whether that's in the physical office where, the large building that we have, or my home office, depending on my schedule is like. But every day I meet with my product development team, where we talk about, we catch each other up on different things. Basically, I listen to them and just kind of guide the conversation in different ways to continue product development moving forward. Product development takes anywhere from 4 to 7 years for us, because it is so intense. So, I need to make sure that daily it's moving forward. And then other than that, I also meet with my marketing team, PR team, social media team, sales team, throughout the week at different times. So it's a lot of time on the phone, a lot of time on emails. And then in the evening, I actually sit on the couch with my computer and do a little bit more until it's time to go to bed. But it really doesn't feel like work. It's just what I enjoy doing very much. So
what drives the passion of Olivia Garden? Like, what is your mission statement or your guys' why, if you would, in your own words?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, it all starts with the stylist. For us, we want to make the best tools for the hairstylist. Best is the definition of best is we want it to work. We want it to be comfortable for the stylist. We want it to be extremely high quality, so we'll last them a long time. We want the styles that they're trying to create to be created quickly and to last a long time. And we want to try to bring any innovation possible, wherever that might be. It could be in a different industry. And if it makes sense in terms of shaping the hair or helping the stylist go from A to Z, we want to try to make that happen. So we are thinking about stylists just like our mother, who works 8 to 10 or plus hours behind the chair, who needs tools that are going to be with her for a long time before she needs to replace them. But basically, who are going to be making her job better and easier. So for us, everything starts with the stylist. And we get so excited when we have a product. And this is what we do. We don't launch it unless it has something that is really special and unique that we can talk to, and that is proven by stylists to really do what we say. We're very fact-driven. We will not put our name on anything unless it really does what we say it will, and we can prove it. The way the product gets developed is, it's an idea, right? It could be an idea that we have, a challenge that we see in the industry, or it could be something that a stylist has suggested, and then that we try to elaborate. So every new product development starts with like a meeting of what we call an OG dream team. A large amount of stylists come together, and we just kind of chat about the idea and what they think about it, and we exchange for about 3 hours different ideas and concepts. And then we can move on to a 3D product development, which is when our engineer actually draws it and can print it, and they can test it out. And then that's when we can start testing it with stylists. And then stylists tell us whether that was a good idea, whether that works, whether those ergonomics are good, what they like, what they don't like. And then we get it back and we change it and we redo this. And that's why it takes 4 to 7 years, because most of the time we're doing something that's never existed before. So we're trying to invent something new that's going to take, stylist job to the next level. So the why is the stylist. And that's really what we always come back to. And if it can make somebody's work better, faster, more comfortable, we're gonna do it. We're gonna give it a try.
There are some things that make Olivia Garden tools really unique, really special. I know we can't get into all of them, but if you can just share a little secret sauce behind maybe 1 or 2 of the creations or features and benefits, Anne.
Some of the innovation that we've had along the way that are, really popular today is our ceramic and ionic brush. We were the first to have a brush in 2002, so 20 years ago. We launched the first ceramic and ionic brush. Our finger brush, which is a super popular brush, we also invented that. That is a scalp hugging vented brush. So your clients' heads are not flat, they're curved. So we thought, why shouldn't a paddle brush that has always been straight be slightly curved so it can hug the scalp while you're using it? And so every single bristle makes contact with the scalp, right? So it makes a lot of sense once you've designed it and once you've launched it. But at that time, there was nothing like that on the marketplace. We, as I mentioned before, recently got into making appliances. And, we are also taking our time in that category to make sure that we can also bring a product to market that's better than what's currently out there. We ended up putting 2 heaters inside the barrel in order to have a curling iron that just curls so much faster. And most importantly, the curl lasts so much longer. And, no one can see there are 2 heaters inside the barrel. It's more expensive for us to put 2. But you can't see that there are 2. But what you're going to see when you use it is like, wow, this curling iron is just different.
We are going to talk about new cycle apparel. It's a really big deal. So the curling iron launch is coming up, new cycle apparel. Let's talk about that.
The new cycle that you're mentioning is actually part of a initiative that we started over 2 years ago to reduce our carbon footprint. So even though, we're in a certain category of products, different from liquids, which are consumables and have a lot of turnovers. I mean, our brushes will last our product will last stylists years, which is wonderful. So in itself, there's not a lot of waste. But still, I wanted to see if there was any way that we could reduce our carbon footprint in the category where it makes sense in the categories that we play without having any impact on performance, longevity of the product, or integrity. And so we started that process 2.5 years ago, and are very excited about the changes that we've made and that we're continuing to make to reduce our carbon footprint. And one of those first ones that we were able to make was to change all of our plastic bags to 100% recycled bags. We're lucky enough to sell millions of brushes around the world every year. And so the fact that we were able to switch from to a 100% recycled plastic bag was a big deal for us. I'm very excited about doing that. That was the first thing we could do, but we've done many other steps and continuing to do. Another step is, for example, this year we launched the OG brush, which is a brush that we designed in 2019 that has a removable cushion. So it's a detangling brush where you can remove the cushion and clean completely behind it, which is a wonderful feature because a lot of time things get trapped behind a cushion, and you got barbicide, you got some water, you got some other stuff, and when things never see the light of day, things grow behind the cushion. So not ideal. So anyways, you remove the cushion and can completely clean behind it. That brush now in its limited edition comes made out of 100% recycled plastic. It's something that's never been done before. So very proud of the things that we can also, that's kind of a new step for our company, and hopefully for the industry, others will follow in our footstep in order to reduce their carbon footprint as well. In terms of the new cycle apparel, so that is a full line of salon apparel made out of 100% plastic bottles. So again, this is in line with our intention of reducing our carbon footprint. And it's wonderful that this technology that we borrow basically from the consumer industry, where brands such as Patagonia and Everlane have been making jackets and other items of clothing from plastic bottles. So they know how to take them and then make them into threads again, and then make something else out of it. And that we were able to look at that industry and take that and bring it into ours. You know, it's the kind of thing that we do. We look outside the box and to make something really unique and different. And then probably lastly, that we finally got into the category of barbering brushes. And that's been something that people have asked us for a long time, since we're the #1 professional brush brand in the world, is barbering brushes. But we needed to make sure that we could find a way. Again, we start with getting together with barbers. What do you use? What do you hope your brushes would do for you? How do you use them? I mean, really getting to the nitty gritty of brushes in a barbering environment, which is different than in the regular salon. And so very proud of the OG Barber brush collection that we just launched in the month of May. So that's just some of the newness. And you can read more about it or see some details about them on our website, of course. And then, you can purchase them at your local distributor.
I know Olivia Garden is always so generous. Are there any freebies that you'd be willing to extend to some of our listeners that are joining us today?
It's been nice spending this morning with you guys. And so we'd love to be able, and thank you for your time, of course, listening to this podcast and to our story and to just the journey and what OG is about. But for the first 5 listeners, we'll write a review on the podcast about the podcast and follow us on Instagram. We will offer 20% off for purchases on our website. So hopefully you guys get to take advantage of that, and you can go shopping for some goodies that you've maybe heard about today, or some things you've had an eye on for a while. I love speaking with you guys. I love speaking with your audience. You know, Stylist is just, it's where it all started, and it's where it all is for us. So, anything we can do to help the stylist improve their day-to-day lives in the salon and their work is just makes us so happy, whether that's our product or whether that's a piece of advice from us or a recommendation or anything that we could do. We're here for them. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak to you and to your audience, and thanks for all the stylists out there. We love you guys.